Hello everybody, welcome to Cricket Conversation. It is your girl Dash. Y'all know what a cricket is. It's the machine to make a lot of the things that y'all see on t-shirts, that y'all see on bags, water bottles, things like that. Today I'm going to be creating a design to go on Carter's toy box. That is what this episode is, and it's also dedicated to having a conversation about grieving and becoming a parent while grieving. Many of you know that my father lost his life to COVID in December of 2020. That was the worst day of my life. I don't think anything could compare to how difficult that was for us. Daddy was lit. I don't know how else to put it. My dad was lit, okay? Greatest man. If you knew him, then you know who he is as a person. He never made an enemy anywhere he went. And if he did, that's because they were a hater, because that's how lit my dad was. My dad was the type of father that I wish all of my friends had. Some of my friends did not grow up with their father, and I was totally okay with sharing my dad with them. My dad would give you the shirt off his back and the shoes off of his feet and probably the underwear off of his behind. That's the kind of guy that he was. And so losing a man like that, I don't think I could ever be okay. I am trying, but I don't think I could ever be okay with not having him here anymore. When I lost my dad, I was 7.5, 8 months pregnant. And I was also diagnosed with COVID-19 as well as a viral pneumonia. Crazy, because I could not grieve how I wanted to, in fear of going into labor early. I didn't want Carter to come early. I didn't think I could become a parent after losing my dad. I didn't think that it was possible for me to have a baby and raise this baby without him, because him and my mom taught me how to be a parent. They have set the foundation for me to be the parent that I am becoming because I'm learning based on some of the things that they did and some of the things that they did not do. I used to talk to my dad all the time, about how it was growing up, and my dad would apologize for some of the things that happened, or some of the things that, and some of the ways that he responded to things when we were kids, and I appreciate that. My mom did as well, and I definitely appreciate that. You definitely need to apologize to your children, and Carter's only 5 months, but when he cries, sometimes I get flustered, and then I might raise my voice a little bit. And even at 5 months, I apologize to him because he can't tell me what's wrong. And that's me taking accountability. That's me trying to break generational curses, apologizing and ensuring that he grows up knowing that he is able to express emotion in a healthy way. So I am forever grateful to my parents for allowing us to be able to express ourselves in the many ways that we do. Being pregnant and trying to grieve while being sick with COVID-19 was hard. It was hard. You obviously have to quarantine for 14 days. Nye and I quarantined in our rooms, and my mom quarantined in the living room. We could not be around each other. It sucked that I had to have my door shut and I couldn't see my mom. She has to bring food and tea to my door, and when I go to the bathroom I have to have a mask on my face And she's, you know, lysoling and Clorox wiping everything down, and I can't see Naya and I can't see Jalen because we're all sick, and we're all trying to grieve. If you know us, you know that we are daddy's girls, no doubt about it. So trying to ensure that we didn't get mommy sick and grieve was hard. Some days I didn't want to get out of my bed, and some days I didn't. Honestly, I did not get out of my bed. Only time I got out was to shower and to grab the food that was at my door. Some days I didn't want to eat, but being pregnant, I was starving. Being pregnant, I was starving, but it was hard because I wanted to hug Naya. You know, she's not gonna get to experience a relationship with my dad as she got older like I did, and like Jalen did. He's not gonna get to see her graduate. So I wanted to just hold her, and knowing that I couldn't, even though she was next door, it was hard. I wanted to hold my mom because I could hear my mom crying, and she could hear me crying, and we can't touch each other because I don't want to get her sick. It was hard. It was heartbreaking. It was frustrating because it's like I can't touch them and I'm in here by myself. We're all in these rooms by ourselves. And we just lost the greatest man ever. It's not fair. I wanted to quit a lot of the time. While I was in quarantine and even after quarantine, I didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't want to be on this planet anymore, and a lot of people don't know that. And I say all the time that Carter saved my life, and he really has saved my life. I didn't want to exist anymore. That's how painful life had gotten for me. I can't speak for the girls, and I'm trying not to cry because it's something that I know a lot of people go through, and a lot of people don't talk about it, and it needs to be talked about. I did not want to exist anymore without my dad here, because my dad was my rock, my best friend, everything. And so trying to move on and be healthy and bring a baby into this world without him was difficult. It was devastating. It wasn't fair. So when I went to the hospital to have Carter, you know, I talked to him because I had to end up having a C-section, and I said, Daddy, I need you because this lady's gonna stick this needle in my back, and I don't want her to stick this needle in my back. I absolutely don't want it. But I said, I need your help. And it was just like instantly I felt his energy come in and sit with me as I was having this C-section for 45 minutes to an hour. I felt all of my dad's presence. And when Carter got here and I heard him crying, it was water words. I was full of so many emotions. I was obviously grieving, but I had just brought in a baby. I had a baby. Oh my God, nobody tells you how traumatic that is. Oh, it's so beautiful to have a baby. That shit is also very traumatic, okay? It's traumatic as hell. But it was worth it. It's so worth it. So it's just like, you have to be a big girl now. You know, I have to push, because I have a little bitty baby who needs me. He can't fend for himself. He can't do what it is he needs to do, because he needs his mommy to help him do what he needs. You know, he needs to be changed. He's hungry. He's sleepy. He's just cranky. He wants to be held. He has to cry. And I have to make sure that I am okay so that I can give him what he needs. It's hard because, you know, I could be simply feeding Carter and I want to scream, and I want to cry, and I want to, I don't know, I don't want to do anything anymore. I want to be left alone. But I can't, because I have a baby that needs me. So I only get a moment of grief, and then it has to go away. It has to be tucked. So grieving for me has been very hard, because I don't get to cry like I want to. I don't get to scream and cuss and fuss and be frustrated like I want to, because I have a baby. Don't get me wrong, it's beautiful. It's the best thing I've ever done, but it's hard. Babies feed, children period, feed off of energy, can read your energy. When I'm upset, Carter knows when I'm upset. When I'm crying, he just wants to be cuddled and held on to and loved on, and he can feel it. So I have to make sure that I am okay so that he is okay. A lot of the times when we're just playing around and he's smiling and he's giggling, I look at him and I say, oh crap, you look like your papa. And he does. Carter has daddy's crooked smile. It is the best thing I have ever seen in my life. He looks so much like daddy that it's it's crazy how much he looks like my dad. And he brings me so much joy. He's a goofball like my dad. If you know daddy, you know how goofy he was, and Carter is goofy, okay? Watching this little human that was a ball of cells just around this time last year have such a personality is amazing. And it's even more amazing that he has picked up the personality of my dad. Of course he'll be his own person, but I see a lot of my dad in Carter already. And I hate that he's missing it. I'm mad that he's missing it. You know, I am going to therapy, which I think a lot of people definitely need to do. Once daddy died, I said, you know what, I need to go ahead and start seeing somebody, because there's no way that I will be able to hold on to these emotions and be okay. Because being an older sibling, I have to be okay for everybody, but who's gonna be okay for me? So that's something that I'm learning to do in therapy. But you know, my therapist is she wanted me to scream the first day I was there. She wanted me to scream and cuss, and I was like, I don't know, but I had to. I screamed, I'm so fucking angry that you're not here. Like, why did you leave me? I blamed him for leaving me. I blamed God for taking him from me, and it was just like, oh, I needed that, because I don't get to do that at home, because I have to be okay for Carter. I have to be okay for Naya. I have to be okay for my mom. I have to be okay for everybody, including myself. But sometimes I have to take a little bit more time for myself. And I'm learning. That's also a part of the learning process. Grief is sneaky. Grief is very sneaky. Carter and I will be playing, and I don't know what comes over me, and I'm in tears. Just the other night, I was literally in tears because I don't have my daddy. My daddy's not here. He's not here to see this little bitty baby turn into the amazing human that I know he's gonna be. When I was pregnant, daddy would, say, well, I'll be the one at the PTA meetings. I'm gonna go on field trips. Don't you worry about it. I'm like, well, what about me? Well, I got it. Don't you worry about it. I hate that Carter's gonna miss that, because daddy never missed a PTA meeting. He never missed a field trip. I begged him to go on my senior trip. What 18-year-old do you know begs their parent to go on their senior trip? This one, because I love my dad that much, and I wanted my dad to be a part of everything, because he made it that much more enjoyable. I am forever grateful to have had that man in my life. Nobody will ever know what it was like to have a Damone nibble other than us. And again, I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for having a father like that, because that man taught me self-worth. He taught all of us self-worth. He showed me what it's like for a man to love his wife and to love his children and to put them first. And you know, I know people say give people their flowers, you know, while they're living. And I see folks getting upset and all bent out of shape when they lose a loved one, and they're furious because they didn't love them the way that they deserve to be loved while they were here. One thing I can say about my dad, he knew he was loved. I made sure every day to call my dad and tell my dad that I loved him every day, even while he was in the hospital and I couldn't talk to him because I couldn't talk to I didn't talk to my dad for 6 days. Every day that he was in the hospital, I was calling or texting, and for 6 days I did not talk to my dad, and every day I said I love you, I love you, I love you. So my dad knew up until the day he died that we loved him. Again, try not to cry because it's super emotional. It's hard not having him here, and his birthday's coming up. He would always say, don't get me anything, I don't want anything, save your money, do something else with your money. And I always got something for him, always. Always. And now I don't get to get him a gift. I don't get to surprise him with something that he wanted, and it sucks. It sucks because he's not here, but I know that he's here in spirit. I know that he comes, and I know that he comes to visit Carter all the time. He's with Carter all the time, because I'll catch Carter either smiling in his sleep or staring off into space, and I'll just say, you know, hey, are you playing with your papa? And he'll giggle. Oh, he'll giggle, and it's the most beautiful sound I've ever heard in my life. He will giggle, and he will have a jolly good time with his papa. Not sure what daddy is telling him, but he's having a good time. And I know some people may not believe in contacting, you know, your ancestors, or speaking to your ancestors, or them coming to visit you, and them taking different forms of themselves. I showed Carter a picture of daddy when he was a little kid, and I said, Carter, do you know who this is? And that boy kicked and giggled and smiled. I have never seen anything like it. And I said, well, this is who you must see. This is how you must see your papa as a kid. And he giggled and he laughed. And I'll say, Carter, is your papa here? And he'll giggle and he'll just stare off and he'll look. And so I know that he's still here spiritually. It sucks that he's not here physically. Trying to understand grief on this to this extent is hard. You know, I've lost people. I've lost family. I've lost friends. But this one, it feels different. Because I lost more than my dad. So trying to understand a world without all of the roles that my dad played for me, my mechanic, my my chef, my best friend, you know, I don't know what to do. You know, it's just like, who do I call now when this light comes on in my car, or I need some air in my tire, or I find this recipe on Facebook and I need it? My dad is gonna figure out how to fix it. I don't have that anymore. And it's like, you know, my dad made sure he was a part of everything that we did, whether he wanted to whether it was too much information or not, he wanted to know about it. And so it's just like, now I don't have him to rant to. I don't, you know, if somebody pisses me off at work, I don't have my dad anymore. I can't call daddy when I take Carter to the doctor. I'm like, yo, guess how much this joker weighs? I don't, like, it's hard because I still want to pick up my phone and I want to call him. Some days I don't want to talk. I don't want to smile and be in people's face, but I have to put on this facade. And it's the hardest facade I have ever had to put on, because I'm not fake. I don't like to fake it, but grief makes you fake. To an extent. I will say that, to an extent. Now, sometimes if I don't want to be bothered, I'm gonna just let you know. I don't want to be bothered. Don't bother me. Don't talk to me. You know, I'll hit you up when I feel like I can hit you up. Other than that, leave me alone. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard. And I sit and I look at pictures of my dad, or I'll look at things that he had, or he, you know, like his toolbox. Don't lose no pieces to my toolbox, is all my dad would ever say. And now I make sure everything is back in that toolbox. I might not have done it when he was here, but now I make sure everything is back in that toolbox when I'm finished with it. I don't want things to be misplaced. I want to make sure things are how you would expect them to be. Grieving is hard. It's sneaky. It's unfair. Because sometimes I sit and I scream at God, why did you do that? Why did you take him from me? And when it happened, I blamed everybody for my dad's death. I blamed everybody for his death. I blamed myself for his death. But it wasn't our fault. It wasn't our fault. It wasn't my fault. You know, it wasn't my mom's fault. It wasn't Naya's fault. It wasn't Jalen's fault. It was an unfortunate circumstance. And I now have to deal with it for the rest of my life. And it's just like, you know, okay, we have the COVID vaccine now, but please wear your mask, you know, especially if you're unvaccinated. And it bothers me. It gets under my skin when I see people out here with no mask on their face. Why are you in Walmart with no mask on? You know, you're shouting unvaxxed and unmasked, and you know it's a threat to, you know, your right as an American. People want to be oppressed so bad. Why? It's like, put your fucking mask on your face, please. Like, it's not hard. You're gonna wear a mask for an hour tops, and you get to take it off and go about your freaking day. Don't come up to my baby with no mask on your face. I had this lady come up to me in the store in Walmart. I have on a mask. He's in his car seat in front of me, and she walks up to me, and before you ask, yes, she was. And she's like, oh, I'm vaccinated. And she gets in his face. I say, ma'am, I need you to back up. I'm vaccinated. I don't care. Back away from my child, because I don't care who you are. Get away from him. We're in a public setting. He's a baby. He can't cuss you out, so mommy will. Back your ass up. And it's just so frustrating, and people want to be on top of you with no mask on, and it's just like, back your ass up, yo. What are you doing? Get back. Get back. You don't know me like that. I'm about to create a shirt. I'm about to make a shirt. The ludicrous saying, get back, get back. You don't know me like that. So still trying to grieve and then go out and see that nobody wants to wear a mask. And this is what killed my dad. Is frustrating as fuck. And to hear people say, oh, COVID is over, COVID was never real, I get livid. And I have to, again, calm myself, because comments like that will piss me off for the day. And I can't come home to my baby pissed off like that. So I just simply remove myself from these conversations, from situations like that, because it's not fair. It's not fair to any of us that people are so selfish. You know, COVID is over. No, it's not. You have people grieving. You have people who lost people to this. Multiple family members. I'm fortunate enough to have not lost as many family members as I know people have. It sucks that I had to lose a family member too, something that I feel like could have been prevented, but that's a story for a different day. It's hard. It's sad. But on the bright side, I became a parent. I became a mommy to a little boy. I don't have many little boys family. I didn't have a little brother as a sibling. I wanted Naya to be a boy. That's something a lot of people don't know. I wanted her to be my little brother. But now I am a mom to a little boy, and it is awesome. It's gross, but it's so much fun. I get to dress him, and I wake up and he looks like me. Sometimes he looks like his dad, and I'm like, I spent 10 months for you to come out looking like your father. It's not fair. But every day I get up and I work my ass off to be the best mom that I can be for that little boy, because he deserves it. He is worth it. He was worth the wait. And I know if my dad was here, he would be in love with that little boy. My mother is in love with that little boy. She likes him more than she likes us, and she will tell you that herself. It's awesome being a mom. I'm learning so much about myself. I'm learning so much about another human. I'm learning so much about the world, just being a mom. I have to be very cautious about things that I do, about things that I say. When I used to be so carefree, like I say what I want, I'm gonna do what I want. No, I have a tiny human who is following me everywhere that I go, and he's looking, he's paying attention, he's watching. He is probably gonna do it and repeat it. So I have to be very careful. I want everybody to experience parenthood, but I know it's not for everybody. So don't take this as me saying go get pregnant. Don't do it. Babies are expensive and they're gross. I've been pooped on 3 times today. Just today, 3 times. And it's not at all, but it's so much fun. I wouldn't trade it for anything in this world. Honestly and truly would not. Carter is the best little boy I have ever had. Or dealt with. Baby, period. You know, I've taken care of babies. That's what Dage does. Goddaughters, godsons, you know, take care of them. Cousins, took care of my siblings. But I have never felt about any of them how I do with Carter. He's perfect. He is the most perfect thing I've ever seen. He's got a personality that will light up the room, and I cannot wait to see the type of person that he becomes. I cannot wait to see what he will learn from me, what he will take away from me, what he will take away from the stories about his grandfather, what will he take away from his, you know, from his lovely, his grandma, you know, what is he gonna take away from his nanny, his AJ, like, who is he gonna become? And I created this, and I get to watch him become something amazing, because he's gonna be great. He's gonna be lit, okay? With a mommy like me, he's gonna be awesome. So I don't know what else to say other than becoming a mom was one of the greatest accomplishments that I've ever had, but grieving through it has been hard. It has been difficult. You know, I have people who check in on me, but it's like, okay, I don't want to talk, but I'll respond anyway. Sometimes I don't want to talk. I don't want to respond to a text message. I don't want to answer my phone. I had something very heartbreaking happen to me, you know, besides having my father pass away. You know, I had a relative tell me I needed to stop crying. I needed to get myself together. Not even 10 minutes after I had gotten the news that my father had passed. And that broke my heart, because I'm like, I just lost this man. The only man that I have ever known to love me like that, the way that he did. And you're telling me to calm down? Who are you to do that? Please leave my house at this point. And it has taken me, it took me 5 months to even speak to that relative again. And even now, I don't want to pretend. I don't want to be fake. And while grieving, I have seen family do some crazy things. us, say some crazy things, and turn their back on us. Well, I take the back, not turn their back on us, but create imaginary issues that have put space between us. I will say that. Grief is not for you to explore your guilt, get out your guilt that you feel because you didn't do right by that person. That's on you. Don't use your guilt to do that because it's selfish. That's your fault that you didn't love on that person how they should have been loved on. It's your fault that you feel the way that you do. Don't take it to social media. Don't take it to phone calls. Don't take it to text messages about your guilt. That's on you. It's for me. It's been plenty of family members that I have wanted to cuss out, and I mean, to my immediate family, I have called them everything but a child of God, because I've watched how grief has turned them into, I'm like, you weren't even like that. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, you didn't care for my dad while he was here. You didn't care to call and check up on him. But you're on Facebook. You're creating this false narrative. I know the truth. We know the truth. So why are you lying to yourself? Stop letting your guilt eat you up the way that it is. And you need to deal with it. Don't take it to social media. That's not the place. And I've had to hold my tongue for a lot of things. I've had to hold my tongue to a lot of people. Now I am overly sensitive, overly protective of my mother and her peace. You know, when everything first happened, I was on it. I was like, who's calling you? Who is that? Who called? What did they want? What did they need? Because it was hard enough. You know, it was hard enough to have to deal with it, but to have people call her and constantly upset her would piss me off. And it's just not fair. You don't call, you know, the grieving family and lay all of your guilt, all of your pain on that person. That is not fair. You deal with your guilt another way. It's between you and God. We've had family say some things, and it's just like, how dare you? You don't even know my dad well enough to know what he would want with anything regarding a service or anything like that. And a lot of people question, you know, when are they going to have a service? When are you going to do this? And when are you going to do that? If you knew my father, you knew that he didn't want a service. He didn't want any big hoopla. He didn't want that. That's not my dad. And as his pregnant daughter, there was no way that I could have gone to a funeral home to see my dad on a slab. No way I could have done that. There's no way I could have seen my dad in a box. Absolutely not. You know, my dad often had conversations with us about what he wanted if he were to pass, and we did exactly what he asked for. COVID just made things difficult, and I feel like I don't even really owe people that explanation. Respect the family and expect that we did what he asked us to do. That's been the hardest part, because you expect people to understand what's going on, how you feel. That's what you expect, and people refuse to. They refuse. And I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't get it. Truly do not understand why people are so selfish and feel like they're entitled to everything that goes on in your world when they're typically never here to extend a hand, extend a condolence, to extend any of that. So fuck them. Mind your business. When you need to know something, you'll know something. And I'll make sure that we include you, should you need to be included. But yeah, that's the end of the conversation. Watch me cut out Carter's vinyl and stick it on his toy box. I just gotta clean the surface that I'm gonna put the sticker on. And while I'm cleaning this, I am sponsored by Najee Skin. It's Najee Skin on the face, the arms, and the lips. I just got the lip balm down here by me right now. Go check it out at NajeeSkin.com. I promise you won't be disappointed by any of the products. If you got a beard, we got beard butter. We got body soaps, face soaps, unscented body butter for your face, scented body butter for any other parts of your body, emulsified sugar scrubs. It's going to leave your skin smooth and soft and moisturized. Why don't y'all go on and check us out? I promise the link is below. Alrighty, so I wiped the top down with alcohol, ensure that it was dry. It's a regular old, container top that you can get from Walmart. Make sure it's good and dry and clean so that your sticker sticks on it like it's supposed to.